The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com. Steppin' Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Whether it's the latest museum exhibit, the newest restaurant, or the current hot play,
we appreciate the weekly updates on the arts, music, and entertainment. Let's step out.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin' Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. First up, my goodness, Dianne Honoré, and she is a tour guide, and she is also the queen of the Yellow Pocahontas Hunters and a black Storyville Baby Doll. And you're dressed as a black Story Baby Doll today.
I am.
Welcome, welcome. Hi.
You.
Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hello, Pat.
Dazzling, darling, dazzling.
Dazzling.
Okay. And Eric Seiferth, curator, longtime curator at the Historic New Orleans Collection. But he is the curator for Captive State at the collection, and we'll also talk about another mini exhibit as well. Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and theatercriticism.com. Welcome, sir. And Philip Straub with the Friends of the Metropolitan Opera, the Laffont Competition, and the Met Opera Regionals are this weekend. I look forward to hearing more about it. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Peggy. Live from Roussel Hall.
That's right. Great to see you, and we'll talk a little bit later. Thank you, friend. And we wanted to talk to Poppy about somebody that will be sorely missed. And I hate to have to say that. You know.
A very, very dear friend of everyone in the second line community, of everybody nationally in the food community. Our buddy Pablo Johnson collapsed while photographing a second line last Sunday and died of a heart attack. And he will be so missed. The most beautiful photographs that I've ever seen of people came from Pablo. I was always so flattered when he took my picture, and I loved him so. He was really famous for his red beans and rice. And so his dear friend, Natalie Jordy, and Brett Anderson's wife, is going to be having a celebration of his life on Saturday, February the 22nd, at the church at the Peter and Paul Hotel. And so everybody who loved Pablo, I know they will be there. There's a fund for donations in his name to a Culture Bearers Mutual Aid Society, and they will be serving, of course, red beans and beer. Pablo had just come home from a big national tour, stirring up pots of red bean and spreading our culture like he did so well across the country. Terrible, terrible to lose Pablo. Now, king cake time. We got to talk about king cake. And you know, we're always wondering, when is it a king cake? Well, look at this little beautiful gem. This is a king cake. This is the G.W. Finn's Dubai Chocolate King Cake. It's only available as a dessert at the restaurant. Now, it starts with a base of almond cake filled with toasted shredded phyllo dough and pistachios. Then it's topped with cinnamon sugar brioche. Then it's dipped in dark chocolate, drizzled with pistachio crumble, chocolate chips, chocolate, and pistachio sauces, and creme anglaise, served with whipped ricotta mousse on the side. And you know what? I have such a little bit of restaurant scoop for everybody. Plan on having that for dessert when you go to on Super Bowl Sunday to GW Finn's for lunch. They just announced yesterday that they were opening reservations on that special day, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. And of course, they'll be serving dinner 5 till 9 as usual that day. But get on the phone right now or as soon as the show's over and get that reservation for Super Bowl lunch on Super Bowl Sunday at GW Finn's. And you know, restaurants are getting in the act with this king cake thing left and right. And Chef Nathaniel Zimmett, he is offering a Dong Fong king cake flight at Boucherie Restaurant throughout the carnival season. Dong Fong, which is everybody's craze, coconut, cinnamon, and strawberry are the 3 Dong Fong flavors that he's offering, and he suggests, as I would, a milk punch to go along with it. Now, moving on to this year's sensation in king cakes. It's coming from my friend Jillian Duran. She is one of the most accomplished pastry chefs in the city, but she doesn't have a pastry shop. You got to find her. And I'm going to demystify, if you have been watching the craze over Balboni's king cakes, well, this is a Balboni cannoli king cake, holy moly. And she's gotten very, and isn't it stunning? It is. So this is Jillian, formerly Rom House Ice Cream. So you find her on Instagram under Rom House Ice Cream, or she also has Balboni's King Cakes on Instagram. And this is how you can special order these things. Her eclair-topped cinnamon cracklin filled with cinnamon cannoli cream, those cannoli king cake bites are gorgeous, and they sell out in like 5 minutes. So the thing to know is where to find Jillian. Find her on Instagram. You can find her where she'll be serving slices of this cake at Francolini's on Sunday, February 16th, and she'll have the eclairs, Turkey and the Wolf on Tuesday the 18th. Track down my friend Jillian Durand, and she will hook you up with a king cake that'll get you some attention. Now, she's also partnered with Blue Oak Barbecue this season, and Blue Oak has 2 of Jillian designed cakes. Oh. This is a pulled pork savory king cake served with a pepper jelly glaze and a honey bun king cake, and these are both exclusive to Blue Oak, developed by that brilliant pastry chef, Jillian Duran, and I hope everybody is happy to have the code cracked on Balboni's king cakes, because there's been so much online chatter about it.
Well,
she's the
great.
sensation.
And I love hearing the word partnership, because it's such a great idea.
It
that
is.
One restaurant would already have the venue, and why not share and bring some other extra talents there too. Wonderful. Well, we're moving over to Dianne, the mild-mannered, low-key.
Yes.
Dianne, it's so great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
You know, thank you for being so involved with so many things. I know by day you're a tour guide. But you're many things, and also a nurse too.
Yes.
But also you are very involved with some local carnival groups. And tell us about what you're wearing and what this represents.
I am dressed as a baby doll. So in fact, this year marks my 10 years as a baby doll, parading as a baby doll. And I have a group called the Black Storyville Baby Dolls, who represent the first baby doll that came out in 1912.
Now, we should point out, in those days, okay, shall we say, there were ladies of the evening, most of them, right? But not these days.
Not these days. Not these
But they
days.
dressed as baby dolls.
Yes, they dressed as baby dolls. It was all the craze at the time.
And we're going to show some photos of you, because you normally have a very busy carnival, and look back at some of the great events that you've been on. There in another baby doll costume.
That was my first one.
Oh, I love that. And then you also have yet another one, and this was for what? T. Eva's
funeral procession.
Oh, it's very, very dear. And then we'll go on to the Skull and Bones.
Yes, that was Mardi Gras 2017.
And that is a masking Indian queen or a baby doll here?
That is a baby doll.
That's a baby doll. Oh, okay.
That's a baby doll
Took
with
me
the
a moment.
skull and bones.
All right. And then Super Sunday. Now, there you are.
There I am as a black masking Indian queen.
Wow, wow. And are you going to, and then that's Super Sunday, and then moving on with Daryl Montana, who you just happen to know pretty well.
That's my big chief.
Your big chief, you know.
Was that was his 50th year coming out, his 50th brand new suit.
He seems too young, you know.
I know.
And once again, though, for those who don't know, the tribe
The tribe is the Yellow Pocahontas hunters.
Okay, great. And then we go downtown again, Super Sunday. That's an incredible costume,
Yes,
too.
that was my very first suit that I
My
made.
goodness, beautiful. Now, you're everywhere. Look at that. That is,
yeah,
that's
so-
incredible, too. Now, Saturday, I have the pleasure of interviewing you and Daryl
Yes.
at WYES's Kingcake and Conversation. It's going to be so much fun because we're
know.
going to be chatting with you all. I'm going to be also talking to Matt Haynes, who wrote the book on king cakes, and then with Errol Laborde and Arthur Hardy and I will look at some old movies from Mardi Gras and talk about them in real time, as they say, right? And that's all wyes.org/events for more information. Now, also in conjunction with the Super Bowl, the French Market's going to have an event, and you're real involved with that too.
Yes, I am. That is the Louisiana Cultural Festival. And I'll be making a jazz gumbo on Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Okay, that's February 7th,
That's
so next
February
weekend.
7th,
Yeah.
next weekend. And then for both days, I'll be emceeing the Louisiana Culture stage. So
That'll be
lots
so
of
fun.
there's
Where
gonna
will
be,
that be located in the French Market?
That
Do
is
you
in
know
the
yet?
French Market. It's going to be under the arches, just past the Ursuline Arch.
Okay,
in the
all
French
right,
Market.
good to
So-
know, because it does extend. We want to make sure we can find you, of course.
And they'll be the baby dolls will be making umbrellas and talking about the history there too as well.
Oh, very fun. Now, and for more information, because they're the many-faceted Dianne Honoré, you can go to gumbomarie.com.
Yes.
And get the scoop all about you. But I'm so glad you're with us. Thank you. It's great to see you again. And moving over to Eric, and my goodness, and this is, of course, a much more serious topic, and that is an exhibit that ends up having been very highly attended called Captive State at the collection. Give us the overview of that.
Sure. So right now at the Historic New Orleans Collection, we have an exhibition, Captive State, Louisiana, in the Making of Mass Incarceration, that looks at how Louisiana became one of the most incarcerated places in the world, which sadly it is now. We incarcerate about 1 out of every 100 people in the state, which is just a rate that is so much higher than the rest of the United States, is so much higher than which is one of the highest in the world as well. We know that the systems of slavery that were here in New Orleans and Louisiana had an impact on our systems of incarceration and on this high rate. So we look at that history.
And we have some images that will show what we're talking
Yes,
yeah.
that's you can see the exhibition as we track this 300-year history of the development of incarceration that takes us through New Orleans being the center of the domestic slave trade about 200 years ago. Of course, we start even before that in the colonial era, looking at things like the Code Noir and how the French and Spanish were using punishment as part of their colonial project here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Here you can see our high rate of incarceration compared to other places. And we really just try to look at how we got to where we are today so we can think about where we want to be and maybe what we could do next. And you know.
A tough and challenging topic, that's for sure. And now, but very well attended, and it even was extended. And you should point that out.
Yes. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. We have had a lot of success with this exhibition in terms of engaging with local audiences, which has been a big goal, and just raw attendance numbers in general. So much so that we decided to leave it up. Had a lot of calls to leave it up longer, and we were able to do that. Extending it from the end of January into mid-February. So it'll be up until February 16th. And I want to also add that we are, with that same kind of support and response, able to put together a book version of it with a very generous grant from the Borealis Foundation, which we hope to have out to the public by the end of this year. So we've seen that this topic and this work has been really relevant and of interest to people in New Orleans and Louisiana. Of course, this is a national story too, so we hope some folks visiting during the Super Bowl will stop in and learn more about how incarceration here has impacted places that they're from as well.
And we should point out, though, for so many years, the Historic New Orleans Collection has published many fine books.
Yes.
They're certainly in my reference shelf, library or whatever, some really fine works.
Thank you.
And so you're going to add to it. Well, great.
Absolutely.
Now for something a little bit lighter, completely different, a mini exhibit coming up, very timely.
Yeah, so we are very excited to be able to share with the public the Saints Lombardi Trophy, which will be on display for Super Bowl weekend that Friday, Saturday,
That's
and Monday.
generous of the Saints to lend it to
Yes,
you.
very generous. And along with the Lombardi, you'll be able to see the NFC Championship trophy and a Super Bowl ring from the victory. All in front of an enlarged photo of a touchdown, a Saints touchdown from that first season.
Look at the coach here. Love that photo.
Yeah, so there's the trophy. So that'll be at 520 Royal Street. It's free. So it's free to see Captive State as well. We'll be open on Monday the 10th, Monday after the Super Bowl. We're often closed, but we're going to be open for everybody to come by. So, yeah, a little bit for everybody. Come and see.
Yeah.
See,
you can
see
also
the
have lunch
trophy.
there too.
You can have lunch. That's
looking
right.
at the two exhibits.
And come upstairs.
And there's a really good gift shop.
Yes. Yes. We've got it all. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
you do. You do. Thank you so much. Glad that you're here. And Philip, how are you? Let's talk. Let's sing.
I'm
praises
fine.
of this weekend. But tell us though about what we can expect on Saturday and Sunday at Roussel Hall. So exciting.
It's that time of the year again. The auditions with the Met in New Orleans started back in 1957 and have been going strong ever since. Now it's called the Laffont Competition for the Metropolitan Opera, and it operates on 2 levels, well actually 4 levels if you count the finals and semifinals, but it starts with district competitions for us in New Orleans, Puerto Rico, and Houston. Then the regional finals are here in New Orleans. That will have singers from Houston and Puerto Rico and New Orleans. The winners from that competition will go on to the semifinals on the stage in New York, and then from the semifinals to the finals. And we've had a particularly rich history of success here in New Orleans.
You have, and let us point that out. First of all, Emily Tragle, no particular order here, but Emily Tragle, and if that name sounds slightly familiar, it's because of her amazing opera star grandfather. Tell us about her.
She won the district and the regionals and the national finals in 2021. She is singing very frequently at Wolf Trap and at the Houston Grand Opera and is building a remarkable career for a mezzo-soprano. There's something in the water in this place, I swear. Because we kick back to Katrina year, 2005, we had probably one of the most striking winners in history here, Lizette Oropesa. She won the district and the regionals here in New Orleans as a senior in college. She went to New York, won in New York, and made her debut on the stage of the Met at the tender age of 22.
Wow.
When she had to fill in for a soprano who showed up to play Susanna in The Marriage of Figaro. The soprano showed up pregnant, and the director thought that probably wouldn't be appropriate. So Lizette got her break because of that. That was her big, big break.
Wow. So let's talk about this weekend, though. Saturday is actually free to go, and that starts at 9:30, and this is the district, auditions first. Okay.
Yes. We will have 30 singers on Saturday at the district auditions. They will each sing an aria of their choice, and then the judges will select one for them to sing. And they will narrow it down to 4 or 5 people to go on to the regionals, which will happen on Sunday, February 2nd.
And that there is a small fee being charged, a donation for that. And that's to support Amici. And Amici, it costs money to put this together. And also, one thing that I'm, I guess, especially proud of that organization, which has been around, as you said, for a while, is that sometimes some of the winners can't afford a really nice dress or suit and to present themselves and audition in New York. And y'all have really helped them with that, too. I think that's so dear.
My favorite story is one young man who won the district and the regionals and went to New York and did not have a tuxedo. When he won the semifinals, you have to sing at that time, you had to sing in tux at the finals. He did not have a tuxedo, so we sent him around to a whole bunch of shops in New York to get him a tuxedo, and Amici paid for it.
I love that. Now, if somebody wants to learn more about Amici or become a member, so we go to their Facebook page, don't we?
The Facebook page is Amici New Orleans.
Okay, or Friends of the Metropolitan too.
Right.
Because I did type
Or
that in.
probably the easiest way to join would be to show up at the auditions on either Saturday or Sunday and join. And if you show up on Sunday and join, you can then attend for free.
Ooh, well, that's a good deal. Well, thank you, Philip. As always, it's great to have you. Remind us about this.
It's great to be back.
That special weekend. And moving on to Alan.
Okay, well, first of all, I wanted to point out, in my absence this past month, there were several amazing productions, two of which I got to see, believe it or not. Goodnight Oscar at Le Petit, directed by A.J. Allegra, and starring Michael Paternostro as Oscar Levant and Leslie Castell as June Levant, was a triumph. And I also saw Anne Juliet at the Sanger Theater, part of the National Road Tour, and was also similarly impressed. We'll be looking forward to Mamma Mia coming up. In the interim, Xanadu at Rivertown Theaters for the Performing Arts played, and I did want to acknowledge that production, although I was not able to see or review it in any way critically. So, what is it that I do? I basically, review these plays, etc. I come on here, and I'm part of the art scene essentially, specifically because there is a void for theater criticism. And to that cause, I've taken it up to my own heart to try to advance and promote theater. So I was a member of the two awards committees for the Big Easy Committee, Theater and Opera and Classical Music. Sadly, there has been little or no leadership for the Big Easy Awards in the last 2 years, and that was really before the pandemic when John Foster retired from Gambit magazine. It brought about really the suspension of the awards. So in probably what's one of the worst kept secrets in New Orleans, Bruce Burgun, who's a former director and theater professor at Indiana University, and I have endeavored to try to replace in some way the Big Easy Theater Awards. We're starting up a new awards review committee and the creation of a board to help us with this project. We hope to honor the 2024 season and hope to get the okay from all the area theaters to proceed to allow our reviewers to see their shows and to consider them for the new awards. It's a cooperative effort. I want everybody to know we have a new name. We're not going to reveal it yet, but again, I just want you to know to keep that in mind. Now, meanwhile, Intramural Theater has taken the wraps off their latest project. This is a political farce. It's entitled Timbuktu USA. It's basically essentially written back in the first Donald Trump White House. Ken Prestonese incorporates all of the worst traits of American political dynasties into this very funny and satiric comedy. Lauren Wells there on the left stars as the Secretary of State, Kelly Kilkenny, a cross between Hillary Clinton and maybe Rose Kennedy. Benjamin Darty plays her nephew Bobby, and Mary Langley at the right there is his would-be match from another political family, Babette Rosequest. Becca Chapman and C.A. Munn play Ushi and Bert. They are Kelly's helpers and servants. The major premise about this is how Kelly and Bobby Kilkenny plot their consolidation of their power by having Babette marry Bobby. John Green, who of course we all know from other areas in theater here, plays two roles in each act. In Act 1, he's a would-be suitor to Kelly, and in Act 2, he acts as an unusual gardener. There's lots of comments about lust, and Emily Lachek plays Timbu, that's a monkey that mocks the human players throughout this work. It's well acted and in keeping with typical political farces. I have to say, there's a little bit of an indictment there of Washington, and some people would probably say it goes too far, and others would probably say it doesn't go far enough. Intramural does a good job in translating the work in this first week of the new Donald Trump administration, so in a sense it's relevant again. There are 3 shows left tomorrow night, Sunday, and Monday at the new Marigny Theater. No show on Saturday night. Another show just opening is a World War II drama and fantasy called Alice by Heart. I will not have a chance to review it, but for those interested, the cost is only about $15 at the River Region Performing Arts Center in Norco. Then in St. Bernard, Danny Rubio is directing the latest production for the company in St. Bernard. Michael John Smith, who we all know and love, is starring as Captain Von Trapp.
Oh, wow.
And Jessica Saland is Maria in The Sound of Music, playing on February the 7th and 8th and the 15th and 16th at Dockville Farms, a new venue for them at 5124 East St. Bernard Highway. Now, sadly, we all are talking about the Sherry Marina Grant. We always mention her, and of course, they present this every other year, the Sherry Marina Grant. The recipient of this year is Fever, which is about the worst outbreak of yellow fever to ever hit New Orleans, set back in 1853. The world premiere will be held starting on Valentine's Day and continuing for 2 weekends with nightly shows on Friday and Saturday and matinees on Sundays. It's at the Cook Theater at Dillard University. You'll have to check out their website because they have not yet given us a link for where to go. But keep that in mind. It's coming up in February, and hopefully you start your Valentine's Day off right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Time for Picks Poppy.
Chef Fredo's Cane and Table 2025 Supper Club dates have been announced. 5 courses, $150. Reservations are now open for the first one, February 15th. Sounds like a really great Valentine gift.
Sounds good to me, too. Alan.
Well, in keeping with Valentine's Day, what would be better for a Valentine's gift than the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra? They had a fantastic concert with Terrence Blanchard on January the 18th, and last night they had Rachmaninoff and Haydn featured with the return of Maestro Kramer on Valentine's Day, though. It should be a wonderful concert. Look at that, the Beethoven Symphony No. 4 and the Overture to Fidelio, as well as Richard Strauss's Don Juan tone poem. I'll see you at the theater.
Okay, and just very quickly, my picks. There will be many galleries open on Julia and around Julia Street Saturday, early evening. Check out artsdistrictneworleans.com for details. And the New Orleans Ballet Association presents Ballet Hispanico, who will perform Carmen Maquia, inspired by Bizet's famed opera. This Saturday, 7:30 at the Mahalia Theater, of course. Novadance.com. The Piety Market is back this Sunday with Carnival-themed items and much more at the St. Peter and Paul on Dauphine. That's noon to 5 with Margie Perez performing. You can check out the Facebook page and learn more about all of that too. And the Women of the Storm Group is sponsoring a forum this Wednesday at City Park Pavilion of the Two Sisters, 11:30. It focuses on the state's master plan for the coast as well as its future. And one last thing that kind of came in, the Algiers Mardi Gras Festival back to Saturday is at Federal City at 9 a.m. There's a parade this Saturday, and at 10 a festival all day. AlgiersMardiGrasFest.com. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From Masterpiece to Nova, Antiques Roadshow to Agatha Christie.
And of course, Steppin Out and Informed Sources.
We are pleased to support public television
It's been our passion.
for a lifetime.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com.